In today's episode, we're joined by the one and only Maura Higgins, who is known after her skyrocket into the public eye through her appearance on Love Island. Maura has built a career in the spotlight, and on today's show, we'll step behind that spotlight to discuss her deeply personal challenges, battling grief, infidelity, and navigating the pressures of her rapid rise to fame, all while learning to find balance in her life. We kick things off talking about the start of Maura's career.
My God, imagine being a monster girl. That would be so cool. You'd get to travel around the world. Some weeks I was taking 9 flights a week. There was so much expected from me.
We explore the struggles of overworking and mental health. Yeah, you did have a breakdown.
I had a breakdown. I had dark thoughts.
How dark was it? While also speaking of her hopes for the future.
And maybe I'll never have a man. I don't feel I need one. Do I want one? Yeah, that'd be nice. I want a family, but I don't need one.
Have you ever been in love? Before we start, just one quick note. This conversation includes sensitive topics such as grief and sexual assault. If you are affected by anything in this podcast, we have included links in the show notes for organizations and charities that can offer support. I hope you love this conversation as much as I did. And please, if you do, it would be great if you could subscribe to the channel and share this episode. What I've noticed is that everyone else tries to tell your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd never like to tell my story.
But why? Why do you think you don't like to tell your story?
I feel like being vulnerable, you're just opening up to get hurt. That's the way I feel. That's why I never open up.
Okay.
Because then people can throw things at you and say what they want. And whereas if you mask it and people don't know, they can't really do anything about it.
It's from my research. And Maura, I've done a lot of research on you.
Oh God, I'm starting to sweat.
I've done a lot of research
Just
on
to let you know, some of that might not be true.
Okay. So that's the beauty of this,
Okay.
right? But what I have noticed is that you have not done a full-length interview ever. But you're here. So I'd love to start.
Feeling uncomfortable.
But you're smiling.
Yeah, but you see.
I see it.
Yeah.
Why now?
I really like putting myself out of my comfort zone. And I've always said I'd never do this, but I just feel like, how can you grow if you don't, you know?
Yes.
So I'm hoping this will be good for me.
Okay. All
Because I am a very closed book.
right. I could see that. I could see that you're guarded.
Okay.
So let's walk together.
Okay.
All right, let's walk together. Let's start our walk in Ireland.
Ireland.
And what I'd love to know is, I want to start with the relationship that you had with your mother early.
Okay.
Tell me about Mom.
I've always been very, very close with Mammy. Very close relationship. But it's a hard one because when I look back at my childhood, I don't think I was a very happy kid.
Okay.
I was the middle child. When I ask Mammy, what was I like when I was really young? She says, I barely spoke. I was the quietest child. I never really spoke a lot. I just sat there smiling, which is quite strange because now I'm the complete opposite.
Yes.
And she always brings that up. I can't understand why I was like that. But I don't think I felt happy, like when I really dive back to when I was young.
Yeah. I mean, that's an honest reflection, of your childhood. What do you think it was about childhood that made you feel unhappy?
I've always tried to think about this, and I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Who could you go to feel safe with?
I don't know.
Okay. That could be where it is. That could be where it is.
I remember when I was very, very young, and I never ever told anyone this. I used to have these crazy voices in my head, but I can't pinpoint what the voices were. It was like it was like my own voice, but it was in my head constantly. And I remember like so many times I'd be like this going, my God, what is that? But I never spoke about it because I thought, God, everyone's going to think I'm crazy.
And what's interesting is that also lets me believe that you truly had, you felt like you had no one. Because if you didn't feel comfortable talking about it, meant that you didn't feel comfortable in the environment. Yeah. How do you think your relationship with your father impacted the environment early on in your life?
My dad worked a lot, which obviously, you know, I can't hate him for that. Like, he's putting food on the table.
Yes.
So he wasn't really around. And then, I mean, I'm jumping on a bit, but when the divorce happened, it just, got worse.
Yeah, worse. So when that divorce happened, I mean, that's a traumatic experience for anyone. How do you think that impacted you and the family?
It was a very nasty breakup, and a lot went on, like things that I would never want to talk about because I would never want to, like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to be saying things about my mum or dad. But now I don't have a relationship with my dad. When the breakup happened, my mum was trying to keep a roof over 4 kids and herself. And, you know, we were all in school. It was very, very hard. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing my mum struggle a lot. She had a nervous breakdown. She collapsed in the kitchen in front of all of us. And only for my older sister, you know, she was a lot older at the time, and she knew to, like, put her on her side and call the ambulance. And I don't know why I remember this, but I remember Mammy has a rare blood type, and my older sister knew to say that to the paramedics. And I just remember thinking, she's dead. Like, and I did not move. I did not help my mom. I was young. I sat crying, like screaming, crying. I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, that was a lot.
You said you no longer have a relationship with your father.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the reason? Was it that time period?
No, it was actually later. It was after I did Love Island.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird. We haven't spoken a few years now, but my dad spoke to me not very nice, and I'm not just saying, like, you know, a bit of an argument. It was horrendous, where I physically couldn't breathe after the phone call. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, like, I wouldn't let a partner talk to me like that. I wouldn't let my friends talk to me like that. I'm not going to let my dad talk to me like that. But also, I think if I dig deep, I don't think I'm jumping a bit now.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever, like, forgiven my dad for not being there for me when my best friend passed away.
Okay.
And he wasn't there for me.
So it sounds like your father not only let you down in that moment, which we'll definitely get to, mm-hmm. but also you watched your mother struggle. You said you watched her struggle.
And I know he did as well.
Okay.
I know he did. But he just did things that just not, yeah.
Not what a father should do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you were in as I see it, a very interesting school.
Oh.
And I say interesting, but I don't know, how do you define?
It is
crazy.
How do you
explain it? Yeah, how do you explain it?
And I think that's a lot of why I was so unhappy as a kid, because I remember I used to come home from that school and I used to think, I just used to cry my eyes out thinking, I have to go back there tomorrow. And you know what it's like with parents, like every kid comes home from school going, their teacher is mean and blah, blah, blah. But he was awful.
Yes.
He was awful.
So describe the school.
The school was basically, from the outside, it looked like a shed, and it was split into 2. So on this side, that's where you start off when you're young. And the teacher was a really nice woman. Really, really nice.
Okay.
You go into to the next classroom, and then you're on to 3rd class, 4th class, 5th class, and 6th class. So you're there for 4 years.
Okay, in one class,
In one classroom.
one half of a shed.
One half of a shed. So in my class, the whole way from 3rd class to 6th class, there was me and 2 boys.
3 of you.
Yeah. And we're being taught the same thing as the 6th class. Which, how does that make sense? But also, we didn't learn a lot. We learned maths. We learned Irish, which we don't speak. We did learn a bit of history, which was irrelevant. Also, we were learning Irish, but we weren't learning the translation of the Irish. So that was quite, that's really going to benefit me as well.
Yes.
And we never got taught English. So I went into secondary school not knowing what a noun was, not knowing what a verb was. I was so clueless. Master Kelly said, we don't need to learn English because we speak it. That was his view on it.
This is an interesting setup.
Oh, yeah. It's, yeah.
What was discipline like in the school?
We weren't allowed to speak at a normal tone. That might be the reason why I'm very loud. We had to scream. And sometimes it would be that hard. You would scream a lot where your veins be coming through your neck. And he would walk straight by you and he would go, I can't hear you.
Interesting.
And he would say it so calmly, and then we'd have to go louder and louder and louder. Discipline, you would not be allowed to sit like that, for starters.
Oh, I can't sit like this?
No.
Really?
You were not allowed, your feet had to be fully flat.
Okay.
Your back had to be completely straight.
Okay.
Your table had to be so far away, and your book, whatever you're writing on, cannot be anywhere crooked. It had to be center straight, and you had to write like this. And God forbid you get comfortable and you do this, you're getting knuckled into the back.
Really? And
Yeah.
He
He would knuckle into the back, and he would just say, sit up straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was 3 years?
3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 4 years.
4 years?
4 years of hell. We never got outside to play. Yeah, that wasn't a thing. When I listen to my friends in the UK and they're like, oh, they name all these games that they used to do in school. And I'm like, oh my God, I bet that was so fun. I'm like, no, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed.
So you would go to school, you'd be in that environment, you'd go home, and then what was the environment like at home?
Well, he would give you that much homework that you couldn't do anything else. He would give you 25 A4 pages to learn off by heart. And the next morning it was the same routine. We all had to say our prayers in Irish facing a wall. And then it was, everyone had to basically say their homework. So you're facing a wall and you start on page 1 and you have to, I don't even think a robot would be able to do what he expected from us.
Wait, hold on for a second. Maura, you're saying that you would have to recite your homework looking at a wall?
And if you even hesitate on one word, he'll just go, sit down, in that manner. And then it'd be 100 lines. So you have to write out 100 times, I shall learn my homework from now on. I shall learn my homework from now on. And all we did was lines most of the time, rather than learn. Mm-hmm. And that was the reason we never had time to go outside, because everyone had lines.
Right.
Because we never learned our homework because it was impossible.
Yeah. When you reflect back now as an adult and you look at that, without question, that's toxic. Do you feel like that was an abusive environment?
He had a bamboo stick. Yeah. And he would stand at the bottom of the classroom. He was in full control all the time. Like, even when you were eating lunch, it's far from a normal school, but surely you can have a conversation with your friend. No. You're not allowed to speak.
You're not allowed to speak?
No.
And so the bamboo stick was used?
Yeah, he wouldn't beat it, but he would poke,
Sure.
Yeah.
So you've gone through 4 years of this. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, on the weekends, what was your weekend like? I mean, where was joy?
Playing outside in a tree house and with my dolls and pretending to be a mum and baking cakes with wet sand.
Okay, pretending to be a mom.
Yeah, weirdly.
Okay.
I used to have incense sticks. And I used to light them and be like this. I don't know why. It's so weird.
So you're a mom
Pushing
smoking.
my little pram around. Yeah, it's weird.
Oh my gosh. When you look at all that, how does all of that, including the small, because it's a small town.
Everyone knows everyone. You can see the top from the bottom.
Of the town? Really? How does that, do you think, inform you in your relationships as you get older?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Like, it probably does,
Yes.
but I'd love to know.
Okay.
I've never seen a therapist because I hate opening up, especially to strangers. That makes me very uncomfortable. Like, I'll open up to my mum, but I'm sure there is a lot of stuff from my past that comes in to my present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to unpack this. We're in this zone here. At what point do you start dating?
My first boyfriend, I was 17.
You were 17? Okay.
I moved out of home. We moved in together, and I was with him for 9 years.
All right. So you moved out of home. Did you dropped out of school at that time, didn't you?
I dropped out of school when I was 16. Yeah.
Small town, so it must be from the small town.
Yeah. And we went to the same secondary school. And it was so weird when I look back, because I'm like, I moved out when I was 17 with my first boyfriend. But in a small town like that, that's not odd. It's really normal.
Yes.
Like, I definitely wouldn't do that now. But yeah, I was with him 9 years.
9 years. Typically, in a smaller town, you'd see marriage happen fairly quickly. So what I understand is that you were engaged but never got married.
We got engaged when I knew I would have never married him. We got engaged maybe a year before I separated from him.
Okay.
So it shouldn't have happened, but it just did. And I think, I don't know, for some reason in our heads we think, this will fix everything. It's not going to fix anything. What is a ring on your finger going to do? I don't know why we think like this, but yeah, it definitely didn't fix anything. But yeah, I just fell out of love.
Okay.
That is literally, and I remember I was speaking to Mammy a lot about it before I did it for quite a long time. And I was just like, I don't know how to do this. I don't want to break his heart. But I knew I had to. I had to do it because I wasn't happy.
Getting engaged or making a big commitment won't fix a relationship if deeper issues exist. It's important to recognize, as Maura did, when you're staying in a relationship out of habit or fear of hurting the other person rather than genuine love and fulfillment. Being honest with yourself and your partner about your feelings is key to finding true happiness and moving forward, even if it's difficult. At this time, though, you are now a hairdresser.
Yes.
Okay. But I think that you've already started traveling outside of Ireland at
Yeah,
this point.
so I obviously left school when I was 16. I went straight into hairdressing, got all
Okay.
my qualifications. It was something I always wanted to do. And I knew I didn't need to finish school to do that. And Mammy was very supportive, as always. And she was like, look, if this is what you want, go for it. So yeah, I went to this training college and then started off in salons, like apprenticeships. And I think you're on like €50 a week.
Okay.
And, you know, you're sweeping the floor and you're making the coffee. And I loved it. I loved it. Looking back, like, I loved it at the beginning. Ended up hating it. But, yeah, and then, you know, you start off then doing the odd blow dry on people's hair. And then you're like, oh, my God, I'm really getting a feel for this. And you're getting your practice. And I just really wanted to be fully qualified. I wanted my own clientele. I was so excited about it. And you know, we always want more, don't we?
Yes.
As humans.
Yes, we do.
We always want more, and it's just greed. But yeah, I did it, and I was a bit like, oh God, like I'm getting a bit bored now. And I remember there was, I don't know, was it an Instagram message or something, and it was about Monster Energy. And they were looking for a girl to do one of the Irish jobs up in Belfast or something, or Donegal or somewhere like that. And I was literally, oh my God, imagine being a monster girl. That would be so cool. You'd get to travel around the world. And I was a bit like, I'm not going to do it. I'll just be disheartened, like, because I'm not even going to reply because they'd probably just not have me. My best friend at the time, Andrew, he pushed me into doing it. And he was like, just reply. You'd never know. And I was like, I think it's like an audition process and like whatever. So anyways, I finally did it. And that day was like a trial. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was so fun. And then they sent me an email, I think like a few days after, and they were like, we'd love you to join the team.
Wow.
But obviously I'm still in a salon at the time.
Yes.
So I had to kind of work both because I didn't want to lose the salon in case there wasn't enough. Because obviously the monster jobs, summertime is very busy. Wintertime, you're without a paycheck kind of thing.
Okay.
So I didn't really want to lose that. And then as I got busier with Monster, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to quit the hairdressing and just risk it.
But at this time, and what's great is that at the time, your best friend pushes you to do this. You have a boyfriend also at this time. So what was he thinking? Was he excited about you doing this? No.
He didn't, he wasn't supportive. I think he kind of seen me as just stay in that town, open my own salon someday, but that's not what I wanted. My dad wanted the same. My dad wanted me to open up a salon and, you know, have my own business in the hometown, but it's not what I wanted. That's your dream. That's not my dream. Like, I want to do more. Like, I want to travel the world. Like, I'm young. Why not? So, yeah, I don't think the ex-boyfriend definitely didn't. He didn't. He wasn't keen on it.
He didn't. But it's interesting that you still had you had the grit to say, even though my boyfriend doesn't want me to do this, even though my father doesn't want me to do this, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
That's something that not a lot of people have, you know, so you have that and so you're doing it. So it sounds like you loved it.
I loved it.
You loved working for Monster.
I
can see you were like, oh my God.
I loved it. I met so many amazing people and I traveled the world. Like, I was in places like Indonesia, Africa, like even started doing some jobs out in America for them. Like it was, some weeks I was taking 9 flights a week.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. It was scary at the beginning, obviously taking my first flight by myself, and I'm just this little girl from the middle of Ireland, rural, just surrounded by cows and sheep. But I did it and I was so proud I did it. And if I was to turn back time, I would have never changed that.
When it comes to love, we're all on our own journey. And that means any advice we're given should be tailored to our love goals, not someone else's. This is where my show and Tinder, who sponsor this podcast, have teamed up to help you. Each week on We Need to Talk, I'll explore love and relationships through a different lens so you can get the advice that relates to your romantic situation. Tinder is for all types of relationships, and I truly believe it has the best tools to help you form the connections you're looking for. That might be long-term commitment or short-term experiences. Maybe it's friendship. But regardless of which part of the journey you're on, Tinder and I are here to support you. Their app is full of possibilities, and it's designed to help you explore every kind of connection. It starts with a swipe. So download Tinder. And then at that time, who was supporting you in this? Who was your support corner?
Myself.
Okay. I would imagine that, but was your mom was supportive of you traveling?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And your best friend, he was supportive?
Yeah.
All right. You've talked about a few times, you've mentioned your best friend. And I literally just saw you post something about him. And I thought, wow, what a friend. And this is where we have a similarity, because my best friend passed away maybe about 7 years ago.
Oh, no.
Now. And I know how it never goes away.
No, it doesn't.
The pain never goes away. And it's interesting because I love how you still represent the love that you have for him. And in essence, you're saying, this love is never going to die. You may not be here, but this love that I have for you will never die. And the fact that he was so supportive of you is also what my friend did for me. When I decided to switch careers, he was one of the few people who said, do it.
Wow.
When everyone else was saying, don't do it, you know? So let's give him honor. Talk to me about him.
What do you want to know?
I mean, you know, let's start with first is, you know, you had a male friend. I think that's even different for a lot of people, you know, to have a...
I guess so. But you know what? In secondary school, I had more male friends than girlfriends. Girls can be bitches. They can be. I had a very, 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 still to this day, close girlfriend. She's my longest friend. We've been close since we were babies, 3 years old. And it was me and her with all the boys, all the time. And it's, I don't see a problem with being friends with guys. I don't get it. Like, even though I do love the saying, girls are for friendships, boys are for fucking. But it's not true, or is it? No, it's not true though. Like, you can have male friends. Do you agree, or do you just think, no, there's always an agenda?
No, you know what's so wild about this is that I am literally writing a new book, and this is one of my chapters.
No way.
Yes, this is mind-blowing.
Please tell me you're not again it. You're again it, right?
No.
Right.
I am for, I believe, this is one of the biggest myths that exists. So you take heterosexual relationships, you hear it all the time. Oh, there's no way you could have a friend who of a different gender. There's no way. Are you serious? The research actually shows that when you do, you show up more emotionally intelligent in your own relationship. So it sounds like you figured this out way before everyone did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think men and women, like whether it's a friendship or a partnership, whatever, I think they complete each other. Like, that's how I feel about it. I don't know, I get on so well with men.
Yes.
As friends, not as partners.
So in other words, for you, men are only for friendship.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've not had a great track record in the relationship.
Okay. But as far as friendship, though, to go back,
Yeah.
what I do love is, and I could already see that. I would have guessed that about you, that you had a strong group of fellas as friends.
Yeah.
So your best friend was a fella,
Yeah.
right? Andrew.
Yeah.
Right.
His nickname is Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. Oh
Mad
my
Dog.
gosh.
Yeah.
All right, Mad, and that makes sense that your best friend
Yeah.
would be Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a nickname?
He used to call me Fatty. But do you know what? In Ireland, our compliments to each other is we abuse each other. And I get that a lot of people don't understand that, but that's just the way we are.
Yes.
Like, I don't greet my family and go, oh, you look nice tonight. I'm like, you look like shit. And that is greeting them and complimenting them, you know?
That's love.
Yeah, it's love.
That's love. All right. So he loved you. You loved him.
Yeah,
All right.
very much.
His passing had a profound impact on your life. So let's talk about that, because I've not heard, I've read you mention about the passing, but I think this is a great place to fully give context to it. So what happened?
It was a bike accident. For so long, I blamed myself for it, because when I look back at that day, the day was so crazy. It's not crazy, it's just like I can't work my head around it. He called me and he finished work early, which wasn't really meant to happen. And he was like, I finished work early, let's grab some foods. And I was like, oh, I can't be fucked. It's like, I'm still in my pajamas, I really can't be fucked. And honestly, I still, to this day, and I'm not as bad as I was with it, but I still think, why didn't I just go with him? He wouldn't have been on the motorbike. We would have just went in his car. We would have got food. Maybe the day would have been different. And I don't want to cry. I'm so not a crier as well. I think I just beat myself up over it. Because it would have been different.
You truly believe, you blame yourself to this day?
Well, I just know it would have been different if I just got fucking dressed and wasn't so lazy.
But you see, Maura, I've been in this exact place when my friend passed.
Really?
I blamed myself for not being there that evening. But I've come to terms with it.
Yeah.
That it was his time.
Do you believe that?
I do.
Because people say that all the time, but it's like, how do you know?
You know why? Because it's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
guess so.
one thing that has helped me that I want to make sure that I share with you is you're still grieving your friend. I'm still grieving my friend. To the point where what's interesting is that anytime I come into a room, I put him in the room with me. But one exercise that's helped me was writing a letter. And in the letter, I know I couldn't give it to him, but in the letter, I told him, I feel terrible for not being there. I should have been there. Why were you there? Etc. It was an accident, how he died. But writing the letter was an act of forgiveness to myself.
Right.
And it literally changed my perspective on the accident, because that's what it was an accident. And I don't want you to continue to go through life feeling the burden of this.
It's also so weird because I did see him on the last day. Like, yeah, I didn't go for the dinner and, you know, I still seen him that day. And I'll never forget him arriving on the bike. And I remember straight away I said, why are you driving the bike? Because he's not a biker. And every time he was on it, I was a bit like, I just don't understand. Like, and I just didn't like it. And he was like, oh, it's a great day, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lovely day outside. The sun is splitting the stones. And I was like, oh, whatever. And I'll never forget when he left and he said he was going to take a drive on the bike. And I never forget, like, I went into the toilet and I could hear his motorbike. And I got these shivers. And I remember thinking to myself, Maura, stop thinking bad. And then a few hours later, I get a phone call. And it's like, it's such a weird day. When I think back, it's like, was something trying to tell me that something bad was going to happen? Or is that just me overthinking it and thinking things that aren't there? I don't know.
Yeah. And you know, that part of it, I think I actually believe that we do have these premonitions, etc. But then also, what then happens, I would imagine this happened, because this happened to me, is that when I heard, I went cold. I went completely cold. Well, what happened after you heard? What was your reaction?
I didn't believe it. I called Andrew maybe the guts of 100 times, over and over again. I kept going to his voicemail. I physically couldn't stop. And I just didn't think it was real. And it was my ex-boyfriend that told me the news. He called me. And then all of a sudden, it's really strange. For some reason, I don't remember, like, all of a sudden my house was full of people, but I don't remember people coming in. But I remember my ex-boyfriend coming in.
Okay.
And I remember seeing his face, and I knew immediately by his face that it was true.
It was true. How old are you at this time?
He passed in 2017, so 25, 26.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is 2017. So this is close to right before Love Island. Did you start to model at this point?
No, I did some stuff when I was younger, like little competitions and just little fun stuff. I was doing ring girl stuff.
Ah, okay.
Like, I did some stuff with Anthony Joshua and like some of the big fights in London. So when I was kind of having a free weekend from Monster, I would do the boxing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So career-wise, what was your goal? You know, was it impact? Was it money? Was it fame? Was it all the above?
I was broke and I was really struggling. I needed whatever job I could get at that point. So when me and my ex split up, I really, really struggled to pay for that house by myself, my car. I was taking trips to Dublin, which is an hour and a half every single, like an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. And I had to get my flights. I needed money.
Okay.
There was a lot of times, like the winter times, where I sat with 4 pairs of fluffy socks, dressing gowns, and I would have the condensation out in my mouth because I couldn't afford my heating. And
you mentioned that one contentious part of your relationship with your father is that he wasn't there to support you when Andrew passed. Mm-hmm. So were you looking for support from your father, emotional?
It's really strange. I don't like to ask for help. And I'm not sure why. You were probably like, oh, I know why. I don't know what it is. As hard as it is, I will struggle if I have to. I do remember having a phone call with my dad, and I told him that I was struggling to keep the house, and you know the bills were getting on top of me, and blah 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 blah. And his words were, "You'll be all right." So, you know, I'm used to doing it by myself. That's what I've always done.
Right. So in your way, you're inviting him to support you.
And that took a lot for me to say that to him, because as I said, I don't like to ask, or I just always let on I'm fine, even if I'm not. So that was quite hard. And the response I got, I thought, any wonder I don't, like, yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel when your father says that to you? You'll be all right.
You don't care?
As a parent, no. I now have finally realized how impactful every moment I have with my children, because I have 2 boys, every moment is.
Yeah.
What is said, what is not said. Your father should have supported you in some way in that moment, and he didn't. So that's traumatizing. It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Now, how do you now, at hearing this, what do you now do?
I go into a bit of a like, I'll show him. I don't know why. I do it all the time. And then I remember, like, I mean, jumping on a bit, but just before Love Island, I remember my last conversation with my dad before going into the show, and I never told him I was doing it. And I hate it. The conversation ended where I remember he said something like, "How's it going with Monster?" And I was saying, "It's great. I love it. You know this." And he said, "Oh yeah, but like, you know, you're not going to do that forever. You're not going to be young forever." And I'm like, just another knockdown. Just, it's like you just want to knock me down. That's how it felt like. And I remember, I don't know, did I say it or think it? And I remember thinking, well, I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do, because I've done it by myself. I'm gonna be the one to sort it out.
Right.
Like, it's not like you're gonna help me. I'm gonna get there without your help. So I don't really need your backhanded compliment, whatever it is that you're giving me. And I just remember thinking, like, nothing's good enough.
Right.
You know?
Right. Are you feeling very alone at this point before Love Island?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you dating anyone? Are you seeing anyone?
I was for a few years. And he cheated on me multiple times. I was contacted for Love Island like a couple of years in a row, and I always said no. I really, really liked this guy. And they had came again this one year, and I was like, no, I'm so happy. And then I was like, I need to go through his phone. I just need to check. Which I know a lot of people don't agree on, whatever. But look, I'm glad I did now.
Yes.
Because I found more stuff than I ever thought I'd find. Like multiple women. It wasn't just 1, 2, 3.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was honestly, my heart was thumping.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You know, when something like that happens, I know that there's also a debate of, okay, do I tell them or not? Do I tell my partner or not? Mm-hmm. What did you do? Did you confront him?
No.
You didn't?
No, I was in his house in LA. I called my girlfriend back in Ireland, told her everything. She was like, oh my God, you need to go up and kill him. And I went, no. I went, that's too easy. It's too easy to just shout at him. What? And then that's it. Nah. Stayed in his house a few more days, cuddled up to him, told him I loved him. He went to the gym. I called back Love Island. I was like, I'll do the show. Then when I flew back, I did all my interviews and picture things and everything for the show, while still down the phone to him. I love you. Miss you so much, baby. It sounds psychotic, but it was my way of dealing with it. And I actually wanted to go into the show without telling him. So I had spoke to the producers and they were like, oh, how long have you been single? And I was like, I'm not. I'm actually not. And they were like, what? And I was like, well, the guy is cheating on me at the moment, so. And they were like, I just don't think you should do this because when you're in there, he could say whatever he wants. And, they were looking out for me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. So I had to call him and I dumped him over the phone. I mean, he didn't deserve respect in my eyes. And then all of a sudden, I think it was like very close to me going on Love and like maybe a week before going on the show, I get a message and he's in my hometown. He flew the whole way from America and he wanted to meet me. I brought my girlfriend with me. She sat there listening to the whole thing. And I just said straight away, I was like, can I see your phone? And he went, sure. And I just remembered one of the women and I said, where's all your messages from her? And he said, never even heard of that girl. And lucky to God, when I went through his phone, crazy girl, I videoed everything on my phone.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Am I crazy?
No. You know what? I was going to come back, but let's just say that now is that the negative self-talk, you have to stop.
Right.
You've called yourself psychotic. You called yourself crazy. You called yourself greedy, all within this conversation.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You have.
I didn't realize that.
You have multiple times. You can't do that.
Okay.
You can't do that. Words are powerful.
Yeah.
They really are. I think you're brilliant. I think what you're doing is all the right. That's right.
Yeah.
You're documenting evidence. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. Betrayal can trigger a wide range of emotions, from anger to sadness, and it's normal to feel overwhelmed. However, it's crucial to be mindful of your self-talk during these moments. It's easy to label yourself as crazy or overacting, but this only adds to the pain and undermines your self-worth. Instead, remind yourself that feelings are valid and that you're not to blame for someone else's dishonesty. By replacing negative thoughts with affirmations of your strength and self-respect, you can move forward with confidence and protect your well-being. Focusing on positive self-talk empowers you to heal and rebuild. To me, at least from your story, he's gaslighting you. That is. We often misuse words, but that's a gaslight right there. That's official dictionary gaslight.
I've got the evidence.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah. So the fact that you had the evidence, that's brilliant. But now, let me ask you, so he had flown there to win you back. Mm-hmm. Clearly, he doesn't win you back.
No.
Okay. So he goes back.
He asked me to go to Paris with him for the weekend just to talk. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, it's not happening.
Okay. Because you're going to Love Island.
Well, I'm going to Love Island.
So now...
I just wouldn't. Even if the show wasn't there, I will not forgive that.
No, not at all.
I'd never trust him again. I would always be watching my back. I just say, for instance, he went out with his friends. I'd be thinking, what is he doing? Why hasn't he replied to me? I don't want to turn into that girl. I don't want to be that girl. But I just feel like, apart from my best friend, every guy has just let me down. So I go into it knowing, well, I say no one, but I expect to be let down.
There you go. And you can never be in a healthy relationship
If I'm expecting that.
if you're expecting to be let down.
Yeah.
You know it already.
Yeah.
So that's something that you have to work on for yourself. But it also could be about how you're choosing your partners and who you're
Oh,
allowing.
I can choose them.
You could choose them.
Oh, yeah. Very badly.
There you go. It's about who you're allowing in your life.
I told Mammy the next one has to be a serial killer.
Oh, no.
That's what I told her. She was like, what? I was like, Mammy, come on.
No, not at all. One of the topics I wanted to talk about, this is a serious one, but I think this is also going to help quite a number of people. And I'm seeing that you've talked about it, but I want to give some stats. 1 out of 4 women in the UK have been raped or sexually assaulted as an adult. 1 out of 4. 5 in 6 women who are raped do not report it. 40% said they did not report it due to embarrassment. 38% said that they didn't think that the police could help. And then those 38%, absolutely right. You know why? Because of the recorded rape cases in the UK, only 2.6% of them have resulted in a charge. Only 2.6. It is absolutely disgusting. But I bring this up because you have an experience with sexual assault.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, what age was I? I might have been, I don't know, maybe 27? I'm guessing. Not really sure. Again, blame myself. Yeah, I genuinely blame myself.
What happened?
It's terrible. We got in a taxi coming home from a night out. My friends got in the back. I got in the front because there was no more seats in the back. I won't do that again. And my friends got dropped off before me. I fell asleep in the front seat. I had a short dress on. And I woke up. And I fell asleep like this. Obviously, you know, a few too many drinks. And I woke up and his hand was up my skirt. And I never sobered up so quick in all my life. I literally thought, okay, this is it. And I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of women that think like me, like, you always just have that fear of something like that happening. Always. Just as a woman, you really do. Like, I would never walk at night. I would never get out at a petrol station even to fill my car at night, even though it's lit up. I just won't do it. And I remember in Ireland, because we don't have Ubers, of course, there was this big card. It's like sat on the dashboard and it's got like a really, really long number.
Okay.
And my first thought was, and I did not say anything because I thought if I say something, he could genuinely knock me out. I don't know. I was just thinking the worst. And I had that number memorized in, I would say, less than 5 minutes. And I remember I just kept looking straight ahead and I could see him. You know, you can see someone from the side profile. And he just, the whole way back, he just kept doing this. Staring at me. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to pull over. He's going to pull over. And I remember getting out of my house and I just remember I could not get the key in the door. I was shaking that much and he sat in the car with his lights on and I thought, oh my God, he's going to get out. He's going to get out. And the next day I still remembered the long number and I never reported him. And the reason I didn't is because I thought, that man knows where I live. And I live here alone. And I'm not living in fear. That was my initial. And I should have. Because, you know, he could do that. Like, I do regret not reporting him. You know, he could do that to so many more women. But I was scared.
You said that you blame yourself in part, though.
I think like because of getting in the front and having a few too many drinks and falling asleep, like I didn't have my wits about me. Like I've learned from it though. That will never happen again. And I think when you go through something like that, you make sure that is not going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know, I have Mammy on Find My Phone. I don't get into the front seat of a taxi on my own. Fall asleep. They're just things that you shouldn't be really doing.
Yeah. I hear you that there are certain things that we should do to protect ourselves proactively.
Yeah.
But you can't blame yourself for some insidious human being assaulting you.
Yeah.
You cannot blame yourself. You didn't invite that. You didn't ask for that. You didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, I don't know, is it my partner at the time blamed me for that?
Blame
Yeah.
you.
He said you shouldn't have drank that much. He basically told me it was my fault. So I think that might be that.
Yeah. So there was no sympathy.
No.
It was,
Oh God, no. No. It was you clearly had too much to drink. What were you doing falling asleep in a taxi? Yeah. But that's kind of how I think about it. I'm like, how stupid. Like, I wouldn't do that now.
But you do see now that you were not stupid. That
Here I go again.
Yeah. That you were not to blame.
God's sake.
That your partner in the moment said something absolutely dangerous and toxic to you. But do you see now though?
Yeah.
But do you see it? Do you believe it?
I didn't know I was that mean to myself. Oh. I never actually know. Do you know what? I know that now that you've said that, every time I say, oh, Maura, you're such an idiot, I'm going to think of you.
Please.
I know I am.
Please.
I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm doing that again.
Yes.
And now, how has nobody told me that before?
I'm not sure.
That's what I'm baffled with.
I'm not sure. I guarantee you it's going to change your life, though. I guarantee.
To be fair, Mammy does always say, you're very hard on yourself.
There you go.
You're very hard on yourself, pet.
Yeah, fat. I love it. I love it. I did not realize that you went to Love Island basically as
Revenge.
a revenge.
I was on a revenge strike.
Is that why you walked into Love Island so bold? Because
Yeah.
epic walk-in when you came in.
I went in there like guns blazing. I think I was so angry. And I was very angry. It mightn't have come across like that, but internally I was so angry. I was like, I've just been cheated on.
Yes.
Like I was with him for a few years and yeah, I was hurting, but I didn't show it.
This was right around the time when I had moved to the UK.
Okay.
And I remember everyone, I was doing a show and everyone was like, you have to watch Love Island. You have to watch Love Island. I was like, Love Island? What is this? And so I decided, okay, my wife and I sat down and said, all right, we're going to watch Love Island.
Wow.
And it just so happens that the only series I watched was your series.
Oh no. God help you.
Oh my God. I remember when you came, I was like, yo, she's going to be trouble. This one right here is going to be trouble. That's how you felt? Mm-hmm. Is that why? Because, all right, let's talk a little behind the scenes, because I've been in reality TV for some time. And I know that normally when you have someone who comes in late, they're there to stir things up.
Yeah, I was actually meant to be starting lineup and they moved me. I think when they got to know me a bit, they were like, oh, send her in a bit later.
So you felt as if you were intentionally sent in there to stir things up.
I mean, they never said anything, but I think they knew I was very chaotic. Like, I wasn't, like, any of my interviews with execs or anything, I think my first interview, I was really drunk. Yeah, I was really drunk, and I remember the brief said, dress how you would on a first date, and I rocked up in a tracksuit and trainers, and I was steaming, absolutely steaming. I did not care.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, because you were on this revenge.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. What percentage of you was there for love versus what percentage of you was there for other reasons?
I definitely wasn't there for love. And I didn't think I would be in there long enough for anything. I genuinely said to Mammy before I left, I'll be home in a week. I'm from the middle of Ireland. Ireland can't vote. They cannot vote. I was thinking, who's gonna vote for me? I'm an Irish girl. So I genuinely expected to be out in no time.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I said, I'll go in there, I'll be chaotic, and I'll be home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So then you're in there, and you're not home in a week.
Yeah, weird.
So what are you thinking? Because I imagine it's so hard because you have no idea what the audience is thinking, doing, because you don't have your phone.
Yeah, weirdly, I didn't really care. Like, I don't know, because I'm not in that world, and I'm like, I think I was a bit oblivious to all of that.
Interesting.
Like, I don't think I ever even really thought about it.
Interesting.
Even before, like, it's not like I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be famous when I come out of here. Like, I'm a girl from the middle of Ireland. I'm literally going in here because I've been cheated on and a guy has hurt me. And it's just going to be a fun little experience. And I'm going to be chaotic and come back home to Ireland.
Yeah.
I didn't really think much.
You know, though, this now makes sense. Because it does. Because I find that those who become popular, let's say, on these programs, for the most part, are those who are not doing it for any external validation. It's all about them. They double down on themselves. But now you're in there and but your mission is to be chaotic. So, and you're not after love.
Yeah, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I was literally just going to be myself. I'm going to turn the place upside down if I have to. Maybe get some men, whatever. Like, I'm in a weird headspace.
Yes.
You know?
You taught me something on that show, by the way.
Really?
You did.
Me?
You did. It was so major that my wife and I still talk about it to this day.
Wow.
Yes. So in the U.S., a fanny
is a bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you said fanny flutters, I thought, how does your butt flutter? Like,
that is hilarious.
How does the butt flutter? I was like, tell me, what did she just say? Fanny so thank you for
right.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I forgot about that. But now, obviously, working in America, I've learned that. Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Now, I would imagine, so we're not naming names, but I would imagine that there are people in there that you see, they're in there for fame.
I don't think when I was in there, I was like, that person's definitely here for fame. But I knew that you can quickly tell that people aren't being themselves and they're very aware of cameras.
Yes.
But I guess that, I don't know, because sometimes I'm like, I get it that if somebody is like, noticing the cameras, because maybe they do care about saying the wrong thing or whatever, if you care. I kind of, that all went out. Like, I mean, there's a camera in the toilet.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They're going to see everything, like,
Yeah.
But I do think it's easy to kind of figure out, like, I don't think they're being themselves, because it kind of comes across like an act.
Yes. Strategically, though, because at the end of the day, to stay, it is about audience voting, but it's also about you coupling and being in what feels like or what presents itself as a loving relationship. So does that become part of the strategy?
Well, yeah, you have to be with somebody to get to the end. But the weird thing is, like, when you're locked in a house, I say locked, but you're in a house, you're in there for X amount of time, you're going to start liking people that you wouldn't normally like. Not to be mean, but you're in there. I'm pretty sure it'd probably be the same on Big Brother. You're locked in that house. You're not seeing any other men. You're going to be like, oh, why not?
So there was a bunch of why not men in there.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not your dream man, are they? But, like, it's the aim of the game.
It is. So there was no man in there that was a dream man. They were all why not.
Absolutely not.
That's fair.
Yeah, no.
Can I say, though, what you're speaking is science, actually. It is called the law of proximity and also the law of propinquity,
Oh, wow.
where the longer you spend time with someone, especially under stressful situations, the more that you become endeared and connected to them.
Yeah.
So this is why you drop anyone on an island,
Yeah.
they're having sex.
They think they're going to fall in love. They
Yeah.
think they are in love, but they're not, because the minute they go home, they're going to kill each other. You know?
Yes, and this happens on Love Island all the time.
Yeah, it does.
So there's a bunch of why not men in there.
Yeah.
I would imagine then the person you end up settling with is a why not man.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not my type. I would never, no. He had even DM'd me prior to the show. I ignored him. But it's so crazy when you're in there. What we just spoke about, it's like, I don't know.
Oh, so I didn't know this. So he had DM'd you to try to just shoot a shot,
Yeah.
basically. Okay. And had you replied?
No. It didn't acknowledge it.
Right. That series also happened to be, I'm sure you know, it was the most watched series of all time in the UK, Series 5 of Love Island. What do you think it was? It was. What do you think made that series so special?
Such good characters. Like, fiery characters, there was just a lot of big characters.
Yeah. And you were one of the biggest characters on there.
Was I?
You know you were. You know you were.
I mean, I was just a bit Lula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say this too? Is I saw this in the research, and it blows my mind how we kind of forget things. Because when I view you now in the press and when I view you in the public, I think the public loves you. Like, I know you probably don't feel it all the time, but on average, people really adore you. You know, when you were coming in here, people are excited. Wow, Maura's coming. Like, people are excited. Like, people love you. But when I was doing the research, I realized that when you got into that villa, the public wasn't on your side.
No.
Initially.
Immediately, no.
No, yeah.
I remember coming out and someone telling me, Piers Morgan said on live TV that you should be dragged out of the villa by the head of your hair. And I was like, God, I love Piers Morgan. I loved it.
Oh, you love that?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I just thought it was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
And I was branded a predator. I also found it very funny. I was like, I remember Mammy going, that is not funny. And I was like, well, it is a bit. Like, I'm not a predator now. Like, but it is funny. But yeah, I was not very well liked. But obviously, I didn't know that. Thank God.
No, but I know, I mean, you are without question, and I knew you would be this way before meeting you. Now I can fully say you're incredibly resilient. There's no doubt about that. You're resilient.
Yeah.
But it still must feel draining in a way to know and feel as if the public is against you or feels a certain way about you.
I really don't, like, it's weird. Like, if I go onto the Daily Mail comments, like, I do it because I just want to laugh.
Okay.
I don't really read the comments and go, they don't know me.
Sure.
They're not my family. They're not my friends. I don't really care.
Interesting. What are in the comments? What do you see?
Mostly I see, she can't keep a man. That's one of the biggest ones. Also, I look like Michael Jackson, which is, yeah, that comes up quite a lot.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's because I've got a really good nose and it's not surgery. So I think people are jealous. I'm joking. But yeah, she can't keep a man.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't come out and talk about my relationships, like public relationships, or like, you know, if something comes out in press, oh, Maura's dating such a person, and yeah, if it's true or not, I don't ever speak out about it if the relationship fails or whatever. But it's such a funny one because I read it and I'm going, she can't keep a man. She doesn't want to keep that man. Like, do I want to keep a cheater? Do I want to keep a narcissist? Do I want to keep a mental abuser? Someone who disrespects me every single day? Absolutely not. I don't want it. Like, I think it's quite empowering to know when to walk away and not put up with that shit. And I just won't put up with it.
Yes.
And maybe I'll never have a man because of that. I don't feel I need one. Do I want one? Yeah. That'd be nice. I want a family. I'd love a husband. I don't have a husband, great. But I don't need one. I genuinely don't. If it doesn't happen, I'm absolutely fine. Like, I've got enough self-love. So I'm like, whatever.
Yes. So then take me to the moment that you walk out of Love Island. Because that's a moment that a lot of people, you know, on these projects look at because their life changes. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like your life changed when you walked out?
Massively.
How so?
Very, very hard time in my life. Like, never spoke about it. I was just dropped to the UK. It was like someone just picked me up, dropped me to the UK, and I was in the public eye. I had nowhere to live. I had no friends, no family, nobody I could trust. And I'm a very, very, like, I've done everything by myself. I've been independent my whole life. But that was a lot. That was scary. Very, very scary. And I remember a lot of times I was faking a smile. Work was so busy. I was getting barely any sleep. I was chased by the paps everywhere I went. I had no clothes. I had a suitcase with just Love Island bikinis that were probably crusty. I had nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Where were you living?
Out of a hotel. Because I didn't live here, obviously. And all my work was here. And it was way overloaded. So yeah, I remember my girlfriend back in Ireland. I was in a hotel. I don't remember any of this because she had to fill me in. All of a sudden, I'm outside my hotel room. Door is shut behind me and I'm on the phone to her. I have no recollection of how I got there, where I was, what I was doing. And she was crying and she was going, "Maura, are you okay?" And I remember going, "What the hell is going on?" She was like, "No, Maura, you're actually scaring me." And she was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm outside the hotel room. What is going on?" And she went, "You were asleep. I called you. You woke up and all you kept saying is, I'm not allowed to sleep. I can't sleep. I can't do this." And I was like, obviously just not mentally okay. I think I was just so overworked, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of the celebrities, in particular from Love Island, I think become completely overworked.
Yeah.
To the point where I think it's an abusive relationship. What I've realized is that there's an even larger group of just, I don't even know what to call them, because they're not managers, they're not agents. They just basically use and abuse talent and make as much money as they can. And I see that what happens is that you come out of Love Island and you go from what was your Instagram following jump?
I think I went in there with like 40,000. I came out with, I don't know, it must have been 2 million maybe?
Yeah, I see. I mean,
yeah, it was wild.
It's just wild. So you have paps following you, etc.
Yeah.
You're probably being booked to do public appearances every week.
Yeah, and it was just, there was no break. It was going from one thing to the next, like to radio, to this photo shoot, to, you've signed with brands. And I'm sure there's so many listeners now that will be like, why didn't you say no? But it's also, you're in this new world. And with a brand deal, you're thinking, oh, amazing. Now, when I look at a brand deal, I'm thinking, okay, well, what's my deliverables? How many grid posts is that a month? How many stories is that? What am I expected? And I want to know that. Back then, I didn't know. I never had a brand deal. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a clue. I was just like, oh yeah, great. It wasn't like someone sitting and go, yeah, but you've got all this going on as well, and you've got your own show with ITV, and you have a contract with This Morning, and you're doing Dancing on Ice as well, and oh yeah, but you don't have anywhere to live yet either. You're doing cover shoots, you're doing all these things, and you're doing brand deals as well. So where are you getting the time to do all of that?
Right.
It's not possible.
Right.
It's actually not possible.
So you feel like you almost had a breakdown. You did have a breakdown.
I had a breakdown. I had dark thoughts, very dark thoughts. And it got to a stage where I don't even think I told my mum. I tell my mum everything. I didn't tell her how bad it was. And I remember, I think it might have been over a year after this whole thing happened. I remember I was on FaceTime to my mum, and my mum broke down crying. And I remember I was so baffled. I was like, Mommy, what's wrong? And she was like, this is the first time I've seen you back to yourself. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I've not seen you back to yourself. It's taken this long. Over a year.
People are probably looking from the outside in saying, she hit the lottery on, I wish I could trade places with her. I wish I could be here. And you're saying that you were in a very dark place.
If I was to turn back time, I would have not taken on as much as I did. And ITV gave me my own show after Love Island. And honestly, Love Island, ITV, they were incredible. And I know a lot of people have, their own things to say, but, I had someone call on my phone every single day, to the care team and whatever.
Yes.
Making sure I was okay. But to me, because I had so much going on, I looked at that as that's just another thing to do that I don't have time for. But when I filmed my own show at ITV, thinking back, I honestly don't even know how I did that. I was in a terrible headspace. Even one day during filming, I broke down in front of all of the producers. And I'm not a crier. It takes me a lot to cry. And, I'm still, some of the producers were actually on Love Island. I'm very close to them still to this day. A great relationship, and they're incredible. And I opened up to one of them and I said, I'm really struggling. I'm really, really struggling. I've just moved into this house. I don't even have a kettle. I have no time to even wash a pair of socks. I am exhausted. And to even think that they still give me opportunities to this day, because I look back and I'm like, I can't imagine I was very nice to work with at that time. I really don't.
I didn't realize this weighted so much on you, that period. How dark was it?
Pretty dark.
Is there anything, because you come out the other side, well, I'm going to go there just because I think this is going to be helpful. When you say pretty dark, what is pretty dark?
I didn't want to be here anymore. I thought that was going to be the best thing. I couldn't keep. I felt like there was so much expected from me, and because I was there on my own, I was like, I've just nobody to help. People say moving house is stressful. Moving house is very stressful. Moving country while being thrown into the public eye is terrifying.
Yes. In that moment, you wanted to take your life.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be so helpful to so many people. How did you go from that moment of wanting to take your life to that space a year later talking to your mother and she said that you're back? What were those steps?
My girlfriend back in Ireland, she called my agent at the time, behind my back.
Wow.
She's a queen.
Yes.
And she basically demanded that I come back to Ireland for a break. And I got to go home. I can't remember how long for, and I just had my home comforts. You know, my mammy, my family, my best friend. I slept. I just, because I didn't get to do that. I never got to do that when I came out with a show. You know, the show is long. Like, before walking into the show, I was in lockdown for 2.5 weeks.
That's right.
You know, and I don't know, I can't think how long the show goes on for, but I think I left the end of May. I think I got out in August.
Right.
It's a long time. You want to get home to what you're used to, and I never got that. And I was just thrown in and smile on my face, and you know, you don't want to be rude to people when they're asking you for photos. Like, I never want to be a rude person, like, no matter how hard of a day I'm having. Right. You know, like, someone being so excited to get a picture with you, you can't be miserable, you know?
Sure.
But a lot of it was, I felt like so mentally exhausted from just putting on the smile. I felt like a lot of the things I did, like I remember I shot a Grazia cover magazine.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe I was like, I'm shooting a Grazia? Like, I was like, oh my God, how? Like, that was like, how the hell am I doing this? I don't remember most of it. I do not remember most of it. I was falling asleep on a stool while I was getting my makeup done. I didn't get to take it in. I didn't get to enjoy it. I was miserable. Like, just, yeah, it's a lot of it is a blur.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, gosh, God bless your friend.
What a woman.
I'm telling you, she literally could have made the difference between you being here and not.
Yeah. She knew it. She knew by listening to me that I was not me. She's known me for that long.
But I was gonna say, did you ever tell her, or she just picked it up based on what you were saying?
She picked it up.
She picked it up. Okay.
She knows me inside out. You know, she just has to listen to my voice and she'll know if there's something wrong.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
And I think, you know what, as another thing, which people would be like, oh, that's not really a big deal. But it is when you're dealing with everything else. You move over here, and yeah, Ireland and the UK aren't really far apart. Like, what, an hour on a plane? It's so different.
Yeah.
I remember trying to get my first car here, and I was so confused that where do you put your tax disc? And they're usually on the windscreen. No, they don't go on the windscreen here. Okay, my car needs an NCT. Everyone's saying, what's that? Oh, wait, it's called an MOT. Go into the grocery store. You're so used to doing it in Ireland that you just know, you know the look of a brand without reading it.
Right.
I had to go into the grocery store, but I had to start reading everything. I was like, are they tea bags? Like, I don't know. PG something. I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's tea bags. It took so long to even do a grocery shop because I didn't even know all these brands. I was like, this is so confusing to me.
Yes. Everything's
different. Even certain words, like cupboard. We don't say cupboard. Like, there's so much. Yes. And then, you know, now I've got a lot used to it. Now when I'm talking to my friends, I'd be like, oh, it's in the cupboard. If my family heard me saying that, they'd be like, oh.
Look at her
okay.
Now. Look who she is.
Look who she's now.
Yeah. Wow.
It was just a lot all at once.
I feel it. I could feel it. But I tell you, from the outside looking in,
you would have never known.
Never would have known. I would have thought that was, you were at the top of the world.
I wish I was. I wish.
Yeah. During that time, what about relationships? Because you left the villa in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't really look at it like a relationship. It's just like, we never really spent time together. I broke up with him over a phone call. Didn't really have the respect to do it face to face. We just weren't. It wasn't. There was nothing there.
So it was, I don't want to call it, it was an agreement almost. But do you think that he was in the relationship?
No.
He wasn't even in it?
Oh, well, I don't know, but I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Fair.
I could be wrong, but I can't imagine.
Did you both mutually break up, or was it more so You saying no, thank you.
I said it, and he agreed. So yeah.
Okay.
There was nothing there. No.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't love. It was like, it wasn't. The minute we got out, like, we were both so busy anyway. And I mean, let's be real. If it was something, it would have worked. Like, there wasn't anything there.
There would have been at least fight. I agree.
Yeah.
There would be fight.
There was absolutely none.
There was no fight.
No.
So then, is your next relationship is with another Love Islander? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you know what's so wild is I know both of them.
Awkward.
Yeah, very, very. I feel like I'm betraying the bro code right now a little bit. But let's go there. So you were friends with him though? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were friends first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were friends for quite a while before anything.
Before anything. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're friends, then you enter a romantic relationship.
Yeah. That shouldn't have happened.
Okay. Why?
I mean, I said it straight away. I said it, this will ruin the friendship. He said, it will not. I said, it will.
Interesting. So it was friends, and you decided to test the benefits.
Yeah, there was a night, I think he was having a bit of a get-together at his house, and I'm nearly sure this is before anything happened. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we kissed, I don't know. And there was a lot of drink involved, and he told me he loved me. We were friends. The next day, I pretended I didn't remember it because I didn't want to have to face that conversation because it's so awkward. I'm like, what? Yeah. And then he ended up bringing it up to me, and then there was a conversation. And then it was, I'm trying to think how this all happened. I didn't want to go there.
Okay.
I genuinely believed it would ruin the friendship. He thought otherwise. So it ended up in a place where we can't be friends. He said, we can't be friends. I need to fall out of love. Which is, I took that quite hard because I'm like, I'm losing a friend. How is this my fault? And then I don't think we spoke for a bit. And then I'm not sure what happened, but we obviously just... Shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
It just shouldn't have happened.
I have to ask this. This is not betraying any bro code because this was televised. So I have to ask this.
Okay.
Because I specifically asked him. I said, did you love Maura?
Yeah.
And he said, I did. I said, do you believe she loved you? And he said, no. Mm-hmm. Was that accurate?
I guess everyone has a different way of showing love. I don't feel like he loved me.
Okay.
So I don't believe that. Like, okay. And you know, if that's genuinely how he feels, like, fair. But he didn't come across to me as he loved me.
Okay.
You know, no.
Fair. Fair. So you feel as if he didn't love you. Did you love him?
No.
Okay.
As a friend, and I had love for him, I wasn't in love with him.
All right. That's fair. That answers it.
Yeah.
So then that relationship then, there really was no relationship then at that point because you're friends and you wanted it to remain friends, but it couldn't.
You know,
stay
we
friends.
had this conversation. You know, we were so civil, really civil. And we said we'd, you know, give it a bit of time. And then, you know, we can go for coffee and, like, you know, we'll try and get that back. But he will just not speak to me. He genuinely, and it's not even being mean, I think he's a great person. And, you know, I was friends with him for a long time and I do have respect for him. But he genuinely acts like I've cheated on him or I have treated him horribly. He goes to my gym. He will not even look my direction.
Wow.
I don't understand it. I've never done anything. I just didn't love him. I don't think that's very wrong. I would have gladly kept the friendship.
Yeah.
I really would have. But that's his decision, and I'll respect it.
Yeah. I think for some people, it's very hard to sustain a relationship with someone that you have such deep feelings for. And I'm not saying that is his case, but perhaps, that's what it is. But I would also imagine what becomes hard is that you then, and I think this is where the media has labeled you. So this is a great place for you to clarify. Is they're like, man, she's a man eater. Like,
I'm the man eater. Yeah.
She just runs through these guys, like, and so what is a relationship to you? What's a romantic relationship?
Oh, dear God, bless us all. The thing is, like, I don't want to sit and, like, go, hey, this guy did this. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not.
This may help. Robert Sternberg. Have you heard of him?
No.
All right, he's a researcher.
Okay.
And he's come up with what's called the Sternberg theory of triangular love.
Right.
Theory. He says there's 3 parts that we need. One part is intimacy, and that's a deep connection with someone. And then there is trust/commitment.
Yes.
So you know that the person who stands before you today is the same person that will stand before you tomorrow, regardless.
That won't happen.
No. This is good though, but regardless of your circumstance, which is so important. So if you are down, they're still going to be with you. If you are up, they're still going to be with you.
That'd be great,
All
wouldn't
right.
it?
So now that's commitment, there's intimacy, and then the last is passion. That there is a physical and sexual for most people, but doesn't have to be for all people, connection. So you have passion, you have commitment, and you have intimacy. If you have all 3 of these, you have what is considered to be consummate love. I consider that to be a relationship, because if you have just 2 of those, it's not consummate love. It could be friendship. Like if you have intimacy, closeness, and commitment, it's a good friend. That's your friend in Ireland who saved you. You know what I mean? You could have passion and intimacy and no commitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a relationship that you feel had all 3 of those?
No. Oh, God, no. I knew that the minute you were saying it. I've never had. No. I've been cheated on multiple times. Gaslit by most of them. No.
No.
Never trusted any of them for good reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I've not really. I always get like, I don't know. I always get with these people that I don't know. It's strange. I had an ex-partner say to me, "I feel you don't need me," and I answered, "I don't." When I told a lot of my friends this, they went, "Oh, you didn't." I was like, "But I don't need him. Like, do I want him? Yeah." I said to his face, "You're not my cake, you're the cherry on my cake." Is that really bad? Like, because some of my friends were like, "Oh, am I saying something wrong? I don't feel like I need you." Like, I also had a partner, it's laughable, tell me that he makes my life easier. Kind of hits the soul, that, because I know how independent I am.
Yes.
And I said, "How?" "I carry your bags." He threw it in my face for carrying my bags. Really? How the hell have I got this far in life without you carrying my bags? I'm so confused. I don't know. I genuinely, like, and these are things that I'm like, I honestly, I can't deal with that. So what if we had a family and a house, and God forbid you ever buy me an engagement ring? You're going to throw that at me as well? I bought you an engagement ring. Like, it's that to me is baffling. I don't know. A very bad pattern. Very bad pattern of men.
We said of men.
Yeah.
That
that I've been with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a yeah.
Yeah. It does sound that way.
But obviously, I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm the angel, because I'm sure I am very irritating, and I'm sure that I have a lot of faults. I'm like, nobody's perfect.
Right. Have you ever been in love?
I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm sure if I was, I'd know, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So you feel like you've never.
I don't feel like I can let my guard down enough. Like I'm always thinking like,
Yes.
it's really bad. It's really bad. The guard just will not come down.
Yeah.
And then when it does, that's when everything goes wrong. So that's why I tend to keep it up. Like, do you know what I notice? Or maybe it's just more me. I feel like men want me. And then when they get me, they don't want me. That's how I feel. I feel like they want that woman that's, she's dressed up, she's confident, she's all of this. And then when they get me, which will take time, and then when I'm myself and I'm, because let's be honest, when you're at home, you want to be the girl and you want to be vulnerable and you want to be cute and have cuddles. And I feel like that's when I get like a different vibe.
How much of your relationship is you showing up as Maura versus the Maura that you say that you want to be at home?
I feel like when I'm at home, that's when I want to be my vulnerable. I don't want to be like that when I'm out. Like, I want to be like, I only want to be that vulnerable girl at home with my partner. I want to be able to ask him for advice. I want him to listen. Like, and vice versa. It's not just one-sided.
Right.
But I want to be that cute girl. But when I leave the house, I want to be, girl boss. Like,
Okay. So can I ask you why can't you be both?
It takes me a long time to get to that place with a man. A very long time.
Okay. Many people feel the need to keep their guard up, presenting a confident image to attract others, but struggle to show vulnerability once they're in a relationship. It's important to recognize that true connection requires being authentic in both public and private spaces. Embrace the balance between being strong and confident while also allowing yourself to be vulnerable with your partner. This balance creates a deeper, more genuine relationship where you can feel safe about being your full self.
I don't know why I have this in my head, but I'm like, when I get there, I'm like, it just seems that the relationship kind of just falls apart.
So when we show up, typically when anyone shows up, they don't show up. Their representative shows up. And your representative is Maura. And let's call her Maura the boss.
Okay.
All right. So Maura the boss shows up. And if your initial interactions with someone is just purely Maura the boss and not Maura at home, that is the person that they'll want. That's the person that they'll expect all the time. And when you decide to show up then as your true self, not as your representative, you say, who is this? Why do I have this person?
But
This
it's
isn't
like,
who I wanted.
it baffles me a bit, because every guy that I get with, they're always trying to break down my walls. They'll always say to me, I cannot read you. I feel like you've got a guard up. And they'll try and chip away. Mm-hmm. And then they'll get it. And it's like, I don't know, it's just, and it mightn't be anything to do with like that side of things. I just feel like men love this chase. It's like the cat and the mouse. They want that all the time.
Yeah.
And then when they get it, it's like, oh, got her now. What's
Right.
that?
So I will say that I think that people who are not interested genuinely in you, people who have maybe low self-esteem, people who have commitment issues, you know, men, et cetera, that have these things, they're the ones who finally, when they quote unquote get your time, et cetera, those are the ones who are going to say no. But I think the challenge that you have, and I would encourage you to try to do this, is to show up more as your authentic self from the beginning. You know,
See, it's weird because I do, like, say if I meet someone and I'm at an event or whatever, different story. Could be a work event, whatever. But if I go on a date with a guy, I am my genuine self.
okay.
Like, if I have braces in, I will hop them out at the table. I will not go to the toilet to do that. Like, I have no shame. I'm very just like, I don't really care.
Yes.
And I know there's like, you know, I listen to some of my friends like, oh, I don't really want to eat in front of him. And I'm like, what? Like that, none of that stuff bothers me. If I could have food all over my teeth, my face, I'm like, whatever.
Here's the best suggestion I can give is that you can't commit to someone
Yeah.
until they've really proven themselves. And what it sounds like you could be doing is you could be committing too early.
How long is too early? I give it months.
Yeah, so this is why I say it could be too early, is that everyone goes through different seasons. You always hear the divorce rate is what?
No, I have no clue.
Is 50%, right?
Oh.
People say that half of relationships end in divorce, and that's true in the West. In the UK, the US, Ireland, etc., 50%. However, if you pull out just the people who have known each other exclusively and dated exclusively for 2 years, and you look at their divorce rate, you know what that is? It's only like 20%. But the reason why is it's not because it's just 2 years. It's not an arbitrary number. It's because in 2 years, you know what you've seen? You've seen your partner lose a job.
Yeah.
You've seen your partner get a job. You've seen your partner maybe lose a friend. You've seen your partner, move.
Yeah.
And you have an opportunity to see how they show up differently given life's different circumstances. And based on watching how they show up in life's different circumstances, now you know what, I can commit to this person.
Yeah.
The technical term is called low neuroticism. Someone who could be consistent.
Yeah.
The challenge that you could have, I'm not saying you do, but you could have, is that you could be committing too early. And I know in the, I call it celebrity space, things move so fast.
Yeah.
Everything moves fast. Everything is heightened. And sometimes you feel like, okay, being with someone for 3 weeks can sometimes feel like it was 3 months because of all the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
But I would say that a good strategy for you could be to slow down. A good strategy for you is definitely to focus on your well-being.
Yeah.
A good strategy for you is to change your story. Because the most consistent story that I've heard from you today is negative self-talk. I'll never get this. I'm a psychopath. I'm crazy. This is bad. People think I'm that. I've heard nothing but self-talk.
Oh, wow.
Nothing but self-talk.
No one's ever told me that.
I believe if you change your narrative, you'll change how you show up. And when you change how you show up, you'll change your life.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. So that, to me, feels like that's something that you can do right away. You can begin checking yourself before you say, I'm a psychopath. Say, hold on for a second. Am I a psychopath? Have you killed anyone?
Well, I just
Have you killed anyone?
Not yet. But I feel like I don't see it as like, no, I genuinely believe it. I do think a lot of it is an Irish thing. We're just mean.
No.
We have a meanness, but it's not a real meanness. Like, I know my self-worth, but I will call myself a bitch and a whatever else.
Yeah.
Like,
So you know what? I hear that. And I hear the culture. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
We're as mean as they come.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. However, it doesn't mean it is beneficial to you.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just because it's part of your culture. I say it all the time. Like in my culture, we're eating crazy. I was like, we don't need to eat these foods.
Yeah.
Just because it's in the culture. It's still killing us.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And so words matter. The more you use these words to describe yourself, the more that you actually believe those things. It's so important because I don't view you as that person at all. But to hear you call yourself that person, it makes me sad.
Really?
It does. It does. Do you feel the pressure to state that you have to stay relevant in order to continue to secure work?
I don't really. I love my work. I don't care about the fame side. If that all died away, I'm happy. But obviously it has given me a lot of opportunities. So that's the good of it. I don't necessarily like the press and the paparazzi and all of the rest.
Yes. Yes.
But I love my job. Like, the fact that I'm working in America now and stuff, like, I'm so grateful for Love Island because I wouldn't be there without it. But yeah, I don't know, like, I've definitely, like, I've slowed down. And I think that's a lot because of what I went through when I came out. Like, I've learned to only take on things that mean something to me. I'm in a fortunate situation that I can turn down stuff and only do the stuff I really want to do.
Yes.
And that's pretty nice.
Yes.
And I'm, grateful for that.
Yes.
Because you know what? It's, I don't know, young Maura thinks back to when she struggled and couldn't afford her heating. And it's like, sometimes I think of that and I'm like, wow,
Yeah. I saw a photo of the car that you bought your mother. And I thought, wow, you just achieved the dream that almost every child has.
Yeah. That was, big thing that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible
Yeah.
what life can give you, But I also think that you should be incredibly proud. I'm sure you are incredibly proud of because you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
You're a grafter, I've noticed that you've given quite a bit of relationship advice.
What?
Yeah, I saw you on This Morning giving relationship advice.
What? Come on.
Oh,
What? Like, why am I giving relationship advice?
I don't know.
Come on, I am in no position to be given. I said that at the time. I should not be given relationship advice. Like, this is not a good idea. But I think they just liked the, not give a shit attitude. Sack these men off if they're not treating you well. And that, what, I stand by that. I don't think any woman should put up with shit. Or man,
Yes. I think you're pulled in for relationship advice is because you're a straight shooter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I see my friends sometime and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Wake up.
Yes.
I'm like, wake up. What is wrong with you?
Yes.
Leave. Like, and I know it's not easy for some people. It wasn't easy for me, my first relationship. I should have left 4 years before I did.
What advice do you give to yourself then?
About relationships?
Yeah.
Stay single.
Really? Seriously?
I don't know what advice I'd give to myself because I know I've got trust issues 1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already going into things like not very, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
And I ask another question. This is about someone else, another mutual friend of ours. And
God, I've been around the block, haven't I?
oh my God, it's like we know all the same people. And the reason why I ask this is because I'll paint the picture is that I hate events. There's only one event that I go to when invited, and that's the BAFTAs.
Oh, okay.
And this last BAFTAs, I didn't want to do the red carpet thing, so I begged to be snuck in on the side. And when I walked in, immediately, because I was late, I just beelined it up. And I went and I stood in line. There was a massive line for the elevator.
Oh my God, was I there? I remember being at that elevator.
And when the doors opened, I did see you in the elevator.
Oh God, what was I doing?
You were with someone in the elevator.
With?
Not with. You were standing next to someone.
Oh, who was it?
Yeah. It was a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours.
Okay. Who is it?
I mean, can I say a name? He's on Strictly right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I couldn't get in because there was a line.
Right.
But I wanted to walk up to him because at that time I didn't know you.
Okay.
I love and adore him.
Yeah, he's an amazing person.
He's an amazing guy. Amazing guy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to check in on him. And I was like, oh, wow, who is he with here? Is this a thing? Is this a thing? Oh, okay. No.
See, you're jumping as well.
I know.
Like everyone else.
I know this is bad. This is why I want to clear it up because I was like, maybe this is a thing. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. Maybe I should.
Wow.
So was it a thing?
We're friends. So do you know what's so weird? We met very soon after me coming off the show.
Okay.
Like very soon. And we just instantly clicked. Our humor is like very same.
Yeah, it's the same.
It's like that sick, dark humor. It's very abusive. We abuse each other. Very nasty. Hilarious. Like, we just get on very, very well. Very, very well.
Yes.
I adore him. He's amazing.
All right, so that's friends. So I should have walked up and said, what's up? Because it was friends.
Sure, yeah.
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 All right.
I think I had a boyfriend at that time.
Oh, okay. I did. I apologize. I jumped to a conclusion. I saw the two. I was like, these two are together. Why do you think that is the case when it comes to you?
Well, it happens to him all the time as well.
It does.
I can understand with me and him because we are like, it's just nonstop giggling and laughing, and it probably does look like, oh, there must be something there.
Yeah.
Like, I've been put with guys on the media that I've never even kissed. I'm like, come on. It's just, if I'm seen with a man, I'm sleeping with them. Watch out.
Yeah. Right. But is that, to me, that seems incredibly unfair.
It is what I don't really care. I never come out and go, this is so not true. I've learned saying nothing, the story will die quicker.
Okay.
So you're better off just saying nothing. And I think I've just got used to it now. Like if I bump into a guy at an event and some sneaky person takes a photo and sells it to the press, like, I'm going to be put with him tomorrow. Whatever. Like, my friends know the truth. My family know the truth. I know the truth. That's really all that matters.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah. You know, you're absolutely right on the say no. This is I'm new to the game, but I've learned say nothing and it does go away.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I never talk. Like, I don't ever speak out. Like, obviously, I don't do podcasts. I never talk to the press. Like, if I'm at an awards or something, I run past them. Like, unless it's somebody that, like, a familiar face, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's have a chat.
Yes.
But the only time I ever do interviews is if it's, part of a contract or something like that, because I know everything is twisted.
Yeah.
The clickbait headlines. And then when you go into the article, what does the headline mean? Because it's just a constant, and it gets annoying.
Yeah. But the media often gets things wrong about you. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you want to set the record straight on?
Ooh. I'm trying to think, what have they said about me? What haven't they said about me?
This is a great, I think, space to correct if you could think of anything. Oh. I think that you already have, quite honestly. You've set the record straight on many things.
Yeah.
You've been a feminist. You've been an advocate for sex positivity. Mm-hmm. And to me, what I realize is that your mother was that person.
Yeah, strong woman.
Yes.
And do you know what? Being on Love Island, it wasn't. I didn't really think about, like, people would have such a lot of things to say about me talking about sex, because I was so used. I was used to being open about sex, and that was never weird for me. And I get that some people aren't comfortable with their parents about those topics. But like, it wasn't odd for me. Like, yeah, and I just see it as equal. We're all equal. Why can men say, "Oh, I'm gonna bang her"? Why can't I say I'm gonna bang him? Why not?
Why not?
I'm a slag if I say that. That's what you'll be branded anyway. But I just don't agree. I don't agree on all of that. I'm just like, I don't know. I just think equality.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes. All right. So let me hit you with this one. It's my last question. Everyone gets this question.
Oh God.
I cannot wait to hear your answer. So, when you think back to your beautiful life, right? You've had some incredible conversations. Who do you believe you had the most memorable conversation with? What did you talk about? And what was the lesson that you pulled from that conversation? Most memorable conversation you've had.
Wow, that's tough. The most memorable conversation I've had.
The most memorable.
This one will probably be it. Because I feel like I've sat here a lot of times throughout where I'm going, like, I know I'll be thinking about this. And I'll be going, wow. Because there's certain things that, like, you've said, I'm like, I know I'm going to take that away. But I don't know if I've ever had a very memorable conversation. They've probably been all drunk conversations. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had a great one with your mother.
Oh well,
Several.
we have great conversations.
Yes.
Yeah, funny conversations. Wow.
And on that note, that's why I'm so happy that you're here, because I was very excited to talk to you.
Oh, thank you.
When we talk about different guests, I literally go.
Yeah.
I go through and I'm like, pass.
Wow.
Maura, please. And the reason why I think I was so excited to talk to you is because I knew there was an amazing story behind this person that I see presented, and you truly, I believe, are strength personified. I'm not just saying that to gas you up. Like, I truly believe you are a strong woman.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us kind of fake our strength. And I know sometimes you have to play it up a little bit. I know you have to play it up, but you're strong and you're resilient and you're gritty. And because of that, you are going to continue to be incredibly successful in life. And I think you'll be incredibly successful in your relationships. And I truly believe you're going to have the family that you dreamt about when you were a little girl in Ireland. I think you're going to be pushing that stroller.
Oh.
I do.
Oh, that is cute.
No, I do. I truly believe that's going to happen for you. So continue to be that person. Continue to learn. Continue to check how
I do like to learn.
Yes. Continue to check your story and your narrative. And life is going to continue to fly for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. Honestly, I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad. I've learned a lot.
Have you?
Yeah. All right, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode with Maura, and I want to give you my key takeaways. Number one, Maura's experience shows the importance of taking a break for your mental health. When life gets overwhelming, stepping back and allowing yourself time to rest can be a powerful reset. As Maura shared, her friend insisted she return to Ireland for a break, where she could be surrounded by loved ones and just sleep, something she hadn't been able to do after Love Island. It's a reminder that rest is not a luxury. It's essential for recovery. Taking time for yourself, especially during tough times, helps restore balance and clarity, allowing you to come back stronger with a clearer mind. Number two, Maura's experience teaches an important lesson about the courage to do what's right, even when it's difficult. She said, "I don't want to break his heart, but I knew I had to. In relationships, it's natural to fear hurting someone, especially when we know a breakup is necessary. But staying out of guilt or obligation often causes more harm in the long run. The takeaway here is simple. That is, sometimes the most loving and respectful action is to be honest and end things. It may be painful in the moment, but it allows both people to heal, grow, and eventually find the happiness they deserve. Making the tough choice to let go can ultimately lead to the most positive outcome for everyone involved. And number 3, quite honestly, this is the most important takeaway. Hearing Maura describe herself as crazy, greedy, and psychotic, no. These labels can become self-fulfilling, shaping how we see ourselves and act in relationships. Negative self-talk traps us in a cycle of self-doubt, making it hard to grow and connect authentically. To change this, start by recognizing these harmful thoughts and reframing them with affirmations that focus on your strengths, like, I am self-aware, I am resilient. Surround yourself with supportive people who reinforce this new narrative. By consistently practicing this shift, you can break free from limiting beliefs, building healthier relationships, and show up in your life with more confidence and authenticity. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Just to note again, if you are affected by anything in this podcast, we've included links to the show notes for organizations and charities that can offer support. Aside from this, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share our show, and we'll see you in the next episode. Much love. It's the eternal struggle most of us face, building a fulfilling, successful career, but also being an available partner, parent, and friend. It never lets up and sometimes compounds to an overwhelming feeling of being stretched too thin. But there are ways to ease the load, and today I want to introduce you to one of them, who is also a sponsor of this podcast. Fiverr is the marketplace where you'll find thousands of highly skilled freelancers ready to take on your business needs. From graphic design to digital marketing, Fiverr is your one-stop shop. Here, you can browse talent portfolios until you find one whose work and skills and budget aligns with yours. What's even better is Fiverr's new AI tool, Neo, which streamlines the process of matching talent and briefing them in. Free up some of your time in life. Head to fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, or click the link in the description and use code PAUL, that's PAUL, at checkout for 10% off your first order.